Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another daily energy draw. This is going to be for Thursday, April 16th, 2020. Remember to take the messages how and when they resonate for you. The timestamps, the dates are just timestamps. So, very interesting energies this week. I'm really interested, because I pre-record all of these, I'm really interested to see how it all plays out. But really interesting messages that are coming forth, really interesting energies. I was called to use the Lover's Oracle, and I started to shuffle, and it didn't feel right. So I'm going to go back to the original, which is the Goddess Power deck. This is a newer deck that I have. Oh, that's beautiful. Inside it says, magic is everywhere, and the goddess will help you claim it. You see that? It's beautiful. So let's go back to this and see what message we have for today, Thursday. What message do we have for today, Thursday, Spirit? Yesterday's energy felt very intense for yesterday's daily energy draw. It feels calm. It feels like a sense of, it feels like goddess energy. I almost pulled the goddess guidance deck, but I pulled this one instead. It feels lighter, softer somehow. So let's see what message we have from Spirit today. And let's see how the week plays out. Let's see what happens. And how these, that's too many, and see how these relate. And do let me know how this is relating to you and resonating with your journey as well. Leave me a comment in the comment box. Okay. Just a reminder, I am closing to personal readings April 27th through May 3rd. So I do have open slots for next week, so do make sure that you get your bookings in now. What do you want for Thursday? What message do we have for Thursday? It feels like it's a great time of healing. I'm actually hearing that some of you might be feeling a little bit disconnected. You might be disconnected from yourself. You might be feeling disconnected from spirit. You might be feeling disconnected from your partner, your sacred partner, or even from other people in your life, from the world as a whole. And it feels like it's because it's a time of introspection. It's a time of reflection. It's a time to go within. That's kind of the calm energy that I'm picking up on here. Spirit, what do you have to say? It's a time to connect back to yourself. It's a time to connect back to the soul of yourself. So if you were feeling a little bit disconnected, you know, we have been channeling the storm. And it had just been pouring yesterday. Very intense energy. It was just a downpour right outside when I was recording yesterday's daily. And you see the sun is coming out? That's what this energy is. That's what this feels like. It feels like the intensity of the past few days is clearing. Whatever's happening was clearing, and the sun's coming out again. I think the rain actually just completely stopped. And you know, when there is sun and there's water, it creates that rainbow. That's the bridge that's being created, is what I'm hearing. That's the bridge that's being created. From the storm comes the sun. From the darkness comes the light. And that's globally, ascension-wise, as a whole, for the planet, and that's within ourselves as well. So if it has felt like you've been disconnected from yourself, if it's felt like you've been disconnected from your life, from your spirit team, from your sacred partner, if it's felt like you've been going through a little bit of a dark night of the soul, know that the skies are clearing and that the sun is coming out. Okay. Oh, and there we have a card. Okay. We have two. We have potential and we have co-creation. And, okay, so this is a separate message, but they wanted me to take this home at the bottom of the deck. You're coming home to yourself. If it felt like you were in the middle of a storm, if it felt like you were being carried off, carried away in this dark night, know that you're coming home to yourself. And you're going to feel much more grounded. Also hearing with the root chakra, you're going to feel much more safe. It's calling me back to Monday's daily energy draw. You're going to feel much more safe, much more secure in this life. Because you're feeling much more safe, much more secure within yourself, much more grounded within yourself. You're coming home to yourself. You're coming home to yourself. Very gentle energy coming through here. So we have potential and we have co-creation. With this energy, this is, okay, piggybacking on the analogy of the storm being cleared. Once the storm has cleared, you know how when there's a storm that comes through, for example, a tornado, it creates a lot of destruction. It creates a lot of upheaval. But from that destruction, from that upheaval, you have a chance to create. You have a chance to build fresh, to build anew. What the storm actually does, what the dark night actually does. So storms come in and they knock down any foundation that isn't stable, right? What dark nights of the soul do is it knocks down, rips apart, destroys, and those are very strong words, but that's what they're giving to me, any foundation that isn't stable within yourself, any belief, any addiction, any pattern, any toxicity, any relationship that isn't built on a stable foundation. And what is that stable foundation but love? If you've been on this channel with me for a while, we've talked a lot about the divine masculines, how for them, their tower that they had built, their life, so to speak, they had built their life on a foundation, but it was a rocky foundation. It was a false foundation. It was a foundation that was built on what they're telling me is ego. And they have had tower moments where they've had shakeups and upheavals, and these dark nights, these storms come in and shake that foundation down. And divine masculines specifically were so afraid of, especially within this connection, so afraid of building something new with their divine feminine, because they were holding on to the past where they thought they had built a stable foundation, but it had been knocked down, and they were holding on to that past cycle, but not realizing that that had been built on ego and not on heart-centered love, not on the soul bond of love. And so they had been afraid to build their life back up, and so that was part of the resistance that they were feeling. With this energy, and this feels like it's not just recent, it feels like it's the past 6 months or so. So they're actually pointing me back to August. This might have started back in July or August of 2019, where there was tower moment, upheaval, storm, dark night of the soul, dark night of the soul, dark night of the soul. That was coming in specifically for divine masculines. Divine feminines, if this is resonating for you, take it as it resonates for you. You hold both energies within you. So you could have been feeling this as well. But what was actually happening was it was the universe that was pushing them to crumble, especially ego, to dissolve ego, anything that was still of a toxic nature, anything that still wasn't for what their soul was crying for, which is their best and highest good, their best and highest timeline. They were still holding on to the past, clinging to the past version of themselves. And so the storm, so to speak, had to come in and knock down that foundation so that they could open their eyes, open their hearts, open their minds, and see the truth, which was, now you build on a foundation of love, true divine love, this soul love, because this isn't what they had experienced before. And this love had been so intoxicating that it was almost frightening for them. And they were afraid because of the love that they had experienced in the past. Now, the love that they had experienced in the past was true, and it was beautiful, and it's real. Love is real, no matter who it's with, no matter what it looks like. That love is real, but it was still ego-based. In those relationships, whether it was romantic relationships or family relationships, it was still ego-based. There were still conditions that were attached. There were still expectations that were attached. It wasn't this soul resonance. It wasn't this soul bond, this deep-seated love, this unconditional love, this pure love, love through the lens of God. That's how these true divine counterparts see each other, through the lens of love. And that hadn't been experienced before. Well, that hadn't been experienced here before. And so it was frightening because it was was triggering all those wounds, all those past pains, all of those past patterns and remembrances of the old relationships. And they were afraid of it falling apart again. They were afraid of the relationship falling apart again, of that tower crumbling again, because that was that root chakra energy, that lack of security, that lack of stability. But what's happening is there's a calm that's coming in. The storm is passing. That dark night is clearing. The clouds are clearing. The sun is coming back in. And through that clarity, what they're seeing is that the love for themselves and the love for their divine counterpart, which is one and the same, is what remains. Through the storm, the love between these sacred partners is what remains. And now they're choosing to build a new foundation based on that love. That is part of the communication that's going to be coming in. That's part of the clarity that's going to be coming in. That's part of the sacred union process that is coming in. That is part of wanting that relationship, wanting that union, both parties now, both counterparts now. So with this potential and co-creation energy here, this is the two of you now co-creating this relationship, this partnership together, because you're now seeing the potential. And it's not just potential, it's the gift, it's the blessing. It's this new foundation that is being built that is stable, that is secure, that is committed, that is devoted, but from a place of unconditional love, from a place of non-attachment, from a place of freedom, because love, this divine love, is free flowing. Doesn't mean that there's not commitment. Doesn't mean that you won't get married to each other. Doesn't mean that it's not monogamous. That's 3D. And you still create in the 3D. You create the life that you want in the 3D because this is the life experience that you're choosing for yourself. But when we're looking at the higher perspective, when we're looking at it from a soul to soul perspective, what we're understanding is that this love is without the confines, without the chains that bind you to another. It just exists and flows between you two naturally. It's organic. It is pure. It is genuine. It is divine. That is this love. And especially for divine masculines, this feels like understanding the potential of this. And potential is too weak of a word. They're understanding the strength of this connection. And they're understanding that now they have the power, because the storm, the tower, the dark night was clearing away any sense of lack of worth, any sense of lack within them, understanding their value, understanding their power, understanding how they are rising. So that's part of the transformation that they've been going through. And what they're understanding is that now they're recognizing the divinity within themselves, the divinity within their divine counterpart, and how you do this together. That's this sacred union. That's this partnership energy, and how you co-create together. And now they are wanting to co-create with you as equal partners, rising together now. The strength in this union, the strength in this partnership, the strength in this love. Coming back to this, remembering that you are home to each other. You are coming home. You are coming home to each other. Last note, 2 and the 1, that's that Trinity energy. The 2 becoming 1. Merging. That's that Trinity energy. Coming home to each other. Oh my gosh, this energy just feels gorgeous and calm and just full of love. Just really full of love. So I'm eager to see what we have tomorrow for Romance Angels Friday, so stay tuned for that. I'm sending you guys so much love, so much light. See you then.